morning, everybody, and welcome back to the one and only AM show. Happy Wednesday once again. All right, y'all. So at the top of the show, we tease that we have an incredible guest, flat out fantastic guest by the name of Rachel G. And you guys, I'm excited because the philanthropist, the speaker, the preacher, the author, the relationship dating expert, the celebrity matchmaker is here with us, you guys, via Zoom. She is from Houston, Texas. So wherever you are, why don't you show your love for my sis and my good friend, Miss Rachel G. Hey, girl. Yeah.
Hey.
Oh my goodness. It is so good to be in this space with you, to sit and chat with you. You know that I have been a huge supporter of your content for many years. And I was doing a relationship conference and I wanted Rachel to come and things didn't work out on my end. And now here we are, full circle on a television together. So I'm just super stoked and I'm grateful that you've carved out some time out of your busy schedule to join us. So thank you. Ooh, I think we lost you. Can we hear you? There she is.
There we go.
Hey!
I'm so happy to be here on this morning.
Yes. So you have accomplished so many incredible things, Rachel. I was reading your bio, my sister, over and over. And I'm like, wow, she has really utilized the gift that God has given her to really provide hope to people. I know that like your brand, what you do is you are a relationship expert and author, so many other things, right? CEO. But I want you to take us back to the genesis of your journey. Walk us through that thing. When did you realize you had this gift of giving incredible relationship advice, really equipping men and women with the tools to succeed in healthy relationships? How did that all start?
Well, I did not start out as an expert of relationships. I actually helped people with their trauma, their childhood trauma, getting over the things that they had went through in their life. And I found myself in a difficult time where I had two children. They were young and I needed to make ends meet. And so I became a makeup artist. And becoming a makeup artist, I started noticing that my clients were coming to me for other things. They were coming to me for help. They were asking for advice, and I would give them my advice. And when I gave them the advice, they would find themselves coming back, paying monthly for makeup and sending their friends, sending their people only to get advice. And so I started using my social media. I started using my Facebook to give advice, to give tips, tools, and solutions, and little motivational things and videos. I found that people love to hear my voice every morning. And so I started utilizing that free tool. That's what I tell people. It's there. Use the free tool that's there on social media. I started using that and I realized I was on to something when I did not post a video one day. And I had people in my DM asking me, where is today's motivation? Where is today's relationship tip? Where is today's tip? And I said, well, if they are wanting the need, maybe they will pay for the need. And so from that, I began the career in being a life coach and relationship expert. And then Instagram came along and it was up and stuck from there.
Wow, that's just, it's incredible.
It is, and I love how organically that all took place and how organically that just happened, just really by you being you and being able to just chat and to be able to talk. Now, I love how you started this off too, how you give a lot of advice about having people cope with their own traumas and deal with their own traumas before entering into a relationship. Why is that so important, and why do things go wrong if it's not dealt with prior?
Number one, it's not anybody's job to heal you. It is a self job. And a lot of us, I was talking this morning on my YouTube channel, we have the Daily Dose every morning, 6:30 a.m. And the topic today was you're in your now season. And the now season doesn't mean you're in the season to date. You're actually in the season to date you and to wait, to prepare yourself for who God has for you. And that preparation means, what do I need to heal from? And a lot of my clients come to me and say, Coach, I need to heal from my past relationship. And I say, okay, but I want to start at age 5. I want to start at the age where you knew nothing about love. It was innocent. And they find that they love according to the way they were loved or the way they were not loved. And so that actually set the tone of how they begin to love everyone else. You wanted love because you weren't receiving love. And the trauma of love actually was triggered from childhood. So for me, I believe if you start at the beginning of life, then you can understand why the roots of your tree have grown the way they've grown. And you can always refertilize yourself and live the life you deserve.
I love that. Wow, so powerful. Rachel, I love that you talk about healing because I've experienced that. It is the worst to get into any relationship. And my sis, I mean that. I've been there, getting into a relationship with people who are not healed. I'm like, okay, so you're having displaced anger. You are cold. You are not open to doing something a different way. You don't validate in any way. You're not grateful. You don't appreciate anything. Like you can really tell, especially deeming that I've been in therapy for 3 years and I've been doing the intentional hard work. You can tell when someone else is not doing that work. You can tell from their responses and their behavior. So that healing journey is essential. And with that being said, I'm curious, what practical things did you have to do in order to heal? Because I know you have a story. You have a huge testimony. But what work did you have to do in order to really heal?
I tell everybody, I love accountability. It's one thing to have an accountability partner, but if you're not accountable to yourself, then what good is a partner? Because they're not there with you always. I had to hold myself accountable and I had to ask myself, what did I do wrong? I may not have been the one who done the hard work, but I knew that I had to be the one to do the internal work. It's not my job to make sure that people are healed when it comes to me. It's my job to make sure that I am healed. So I held myself accountable. I found my faults. I found where I went wrong and I own it. That was my first step in owning every mistake. I am divorced. I went through a traumatic divorce that a lot of people were crazy. A lot of people have lost their mind, lost their life behind, but I am yet still here. And I was able to heal from that by realizing, what did I do wrong? And I asked God, show me my mistake. Once I asked God to show me my mistake, I said, okay, God, I need you now to redirect me. Put me back where I need to be. And after that, God, I need you to stay with me and guide me throughout this thing. And so me and God and my therapist, along with the exercise assignments that I have for my clients that I have my therapist to use, that is what the tools and the solutions that we utilize to help me heal. But I would have never done that had I pointed the finger at everybody else but myself.
Powerful. Love that you incorporated God in therapy.
Yeah.
Because I know in our community, they think just because you believe in God, Rachel, then that eradicates a therapist. No. God puts therapists there for you to get help. Oh, I can just pray and talk to God. And you can, my sister, you can. You can also sign up on Thursdays at 2:00 with Angie to help you or whoever your therapist is. And so I do it. I've done it for 3.5 years. I do it and I need it. And it's no shame in that. I also love that you infuse faith with your teachings as well, that you don't shy away from God. I admire that.
Oh, yes. Where would I be without him? You know, I don't consider myself a Christian coach. I consider myself a coach and I let my light shine. You know, I'm going to talk about God. I'm going to give him the glory. And if I need to, my clients already know that I am going to incorporate scripture and also spiritual practical practices in the midst of that. And I just don't have Christian clients. I have atheists. I have Buddhists. I have all types of clients. But whenever you let your light shine, they want the help. And they also realize they want your God.
That's beautiful.
That's good.
It's powerful, and you're coming at it from so many different directions. And I think that must be why I was reading up that after 16 years of being an expert in this field, you have 100% success rate for saving marriages. How is it 100%? That is crazy. That's wild. Please tell us about that.
Well, I'm praying on one right now. We're praying on one.
Right.
So I can keep my 100%. But the main thing is, I believe that couples go in trying to blame each other. I'm very big on accountability. Anyone that listened to me over the years, I will tell on myself. I will tell where I messed up. I will own it. And I believe that you have to own your mistakes. Stop looking at your partner and what they've done wrong. Find your wrong. If we're always evolving and becoming and working on us, then it's easy for us to be who we need to be for who God has for us. And we don't put blame on them as if something is their fault. Even if it is their fault, it's the way that you say it. It's not, this is your fault. It's, how do we fix this so that we can have a healthy marriage? Nobody wants the finger being pointed at them when they have an issue. It's, how can you work with me? You are my helpmeet. You are here to serve me. You're here to be with me. We're here to grow. We're not going through this marriage. We're growing through this marriage, and we're growing together. So it takes both of us. You're the sun and I'm the water. And God is a fertilization that allows us to grow abundantly.
Yeah.
What a great analogy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
We say that in church all the time. It's true. One watereth, one planteth, God gives the increase. It's so true. I'm curious, Rachel, what is one relationship like red flag, right? Red flag, or the top relationship mistake that you see people make over and over besides accountability? Like, what red flag? I guess that's two questions in one. What red flag do people avoid, right, that they should really pay attention to? And what's the number one mistake that folks make when getting into a relationship?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll go ahead and combine that answer in one and make it one: the rush. Rushing to be married without understanding what marriage is.
Yep.
When people meet people, they're trying to figure out, are you my husband or are you my wife? No, is that your friend? Slow down. You have a lifetime to do life with someone, but once that pastor, once the person who's married you, that judge, puts that signature, puts that stamp and that date, they file your marriage report. You don't. So once they file your marriage report, whatever you have married into, that's what you said I do to. So the biggest mistake people make is wanting to be married, and mainly for social media. They want people like myself to share their videos, to create affirmations, to create posts off of their videos. What is a post if you don't have a private life that is full of purpose? It's nothing.
Exactly. So good.
We talk about that all the time here on the show with social media and how people are just living for those posts, living for those likes, living for those comments. But then you turn your phone off and you look next to you and you're like, oh,
You don't like them.
we're married? Like, what do we have to, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And so I think that's where a lot of that confrontation can come from. I fully agree. You're so right with that. Now, I wanted to ask you a question about this. You always hear about, or I've heard about this a lot, was the 7-year itch. Have you ever heard about the 7-year itch? So I'm sure you have. You've been in this industry for a while. So 7-year itch, where it's divorce rates just skyrocket after 7 years. Why is that? And what can people do to, I guess, maybe keep that spark alive, keep the flame going, to not want to rush to divorce after that 7-year mark?
Well, it's 2-year, 5-year, 7 years. If you can get past those hurdles, and most people don't make it past the 2, the 5, or the 7. And the reason why is because they get married and they live life like a married couple. The longevity of marriage means you are marrying your friend. That's why you have to slow down, number one, and realize that the person that you're saying I do to is your friend first. After that, you realize that I need to continue to date my friend. We're always evolving. We change every year. We change every season. I say that marriage has seasons and semesters, and they all change. They all evolve, and they all level up. And in order for us to level up, the person that you date is not the person that you say you want to be exclusive with. The person that you're exclusive with is not the person that you are engaged to. The person you're engaged to is not the person you're marrying. The person you're marrying is not the mother. The mother or the father. The mother or the father is not the same person when the children graduate. God forbid something happens in the family. Mom died, kids died. We change. We stop getting to know each other in the change. There's this thing that I do with my clients, and I advise anyone to do it. It's called the reevaluating the relationship. And I equate it back to when we were in school, they had fire drills. And those fire drills we did in school just was in case a fire came. If we had a fire, never seen a fire, but we knew what to do if a fire came. The fire drills within your marriage allow you to reevaluate your marriage, to go to your partner during a great time, not an argument, because we want to hit below the belt and we want to tell somebody how we feel about them when we're mad. That is not the time, because those words you cannot take back. So if I tell you, if we sit down on a Sunday, having a nice talk, a walk in the park, or something fun and exciting, and you're telling me what you don't like about me and what I don't like about you, and we're helping each other change that thing. You may be cooking something that person really doesn't like or really is sick of, but they're eating it anyways. But when you ask them, you give them an opportunity to be vulnerable with you, to tell you what they like and what they don't like. And if you can't cook it, if you can't do it, that's another activity. I've had clients have activities of intimacy, activities of life, and it has put the spark back into their marriage. You have to remember, you're marrying your best friends. And what do friends do? We go and we have brunch. We go and we shop. We go and we have fun. Why can't we have fun with our mate the same way we have fun with our friends? It's because we marry them and they're just our spouse. No, that is forever your best friend, and you're dating them until you guys are saying goodbye to one another and parting ways in the earth.
Woo! Yes, girl. I feel like we were just like in a coaching session. Incredible. I mean, I really loved how you said you never stop getting to know them, because I did this analogy the other day on the show. I really get this from my parents, Rachel. And my father told me that he said, Judea, if we start off, right, at the same level, I'm 2, you're 2, and we start, the marriage continues, and I start growing, and the other person is staying the same, and I start growing, and there's literally no change. Rachel, you know this, girl. There is such a disparity. And I was saying that you can't be the mom and the wife. No, I don't care what anybody says. It takes away the attraction and the intimacy a little bit if you literally have to teach them everything. So I love your point about being intentional about getting to know who they are. Stop just blaming it on postpartum. No, she had twins, right? Of course she's going to be hormonal. She is a different person. And you have to get to know her. I love that. I think that brings me to my next question. I know you are the founder of I'm Somebody's Wife. I love when I see that. I'm like, yes, honey. I am somebody's wife, woman of healing. Tell us a little bit about what that program encapsulates. What is that about?
Well, I'll be 100% honest. I'm Somebody's Wife grew from me being busy, being in my own zone. I was in a state and a time in my life. I just bought a house. Business started booming. Social media was booming. Finally hit that 6-figure marker in my life. And I was so happy by myself. Yeah. We're going to need a whole nother show for this. But I was so happy by myself. And I went back to my book. I believe in goals. I set goals for myself. And I looked at my goals when I was 25, 25, and what I was wanting to do when I was 35. I said by 35, I wanted to be married, or at least in a relationship that was promising towards marriage. And so after praying, God was like, I'm going to prepare you for your husband. And I knew I did not have a mindset of a wife. regardless of how many marriages I've helped, regardless of how many people I've helped, I was great in my own lane living my life. I was great with me just sitting by the fireplace at night. And so I automatically knew I don't have a wife mindset. The Bible says when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing and obtains favor. Well, I was not a good thing. I was favored, but I wasn't a wife because my mindset wasn't there. Your mindset has to be where it needs to be in order for you to walk in what it is that God wants for you and what you see. You can want it all day long, but if your mind isn't there, it's not going to connect with what you need. And so I knew that everything I ever had in life, I spoke affirmations. I saw myself before I saw myself. That was kind of my accountability for me to go ahead and start doing it. And so I began to look in the mirror and say, I'm somebody's wife. I'm somebody's good thing. I'm somebody's favor. I'm a loving wife. I'm a submissive wife. And I began to say those things. And then the spark of wanting to have companionship, wanting to date, wanting to do love, it started to come back. And so in that time, I began to speak those affirmations. I did get married. I am divorced, but that's a whole nother story. Like I said, we need a whole nother show for that. But those affirmations sparked something inside of me. And those affirmations, the journal, the book, I'm actually getting ready to do it. I'm Somebody's Wife, the season of Bride. It starts on Sunday. I'm getting ready to do a 14-day event on that. That is coming up. And I've led so many women into marriage, so many women into finding themselves. Despite my marriage not working, remember I talked about the accountability piece. I had to take accountability that sometimes we don't go back to God and we don't ask God for confirmation. And even I myself can put yourself in a situation where you have to ask God to get you out of it. But it worked out for my good. But I'm Somebody's Wife came from me knowing who I was not. I was not about to play and act like I was ready for marriage when I wasn't. Regardless of what I looked like, regardless of what I drove, I lived, regardless of what my bank account, regardless of what my status was on social media or globally, I was not the person I needed to be privately for who God had for me. But I had to prepare myself for that. So I'm Somebody's Wife prepares you to be someone's wife.
Because it's really in the mind.
I've
learned that it's really the mindset. We don't care what you got on. If you are not willing to cooperate with someone, admit when you're wrong, speak up when you're right, it's in your mind. Marriage is about, so you're so right, Rachel. Marriage is about servitude. It's about servitude, not the flowers and the dress. That's cute, but it's servitude. It really is.
Yeah, and Rachel, can I just say, I just got lost when you were speaking. I was like, wow, I could sit here and listen to your advice for so long, and we are definitely going to. We have so much more that we want to chat with you and pick your brain on. But guys, we're just going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, there is such a list of other accomplishments that Rachel has done that we are going to dive into. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back more with Rachel G when we return. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the AM show. As you see right there, we are right in the middle of an incredible conversation with Rachel Gilder. Rachel G, who is a relationship coach, expert. She is a public speaker. She does everything. So welcome back to the show, Rachel. Hey.
Yes, girl.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey. And I'm so excited to continue this conversation because like I said before the break, I'm just getting lost in your advice and it really is hitting home and it feels like an incredible advice. So thank you so much for that. But I wanted to dive in right now. Like I said, you have your hands in a lot of different things. I wanted to talk with you about your next generation charm school that you started for at-risk teenage girls. So can you tell us a little bit about the genesis of that organization, what caused you to start it, and what you're all about there?
Well, in the local town where I live outside of Houston, I saw a need. Of course, I am learning about making sure that you give back and you continue to give back. And it's not just about you, your age group, the one before you, but who's going to do this after us? Who's going to teach children what they need, especially young girls? Because if we don't teach them, I can tell you right now who's going to teach them.
Yeah.
Who's going to teach them is going to be the Nickies and the whatever you do, whatever you listen to, that is 100% all on you. That's you.
Yep.
But they need guidance. They need someone that looks like them, that can say, I know what it's like to not have your father. I know what it's like to be bullied. I know what it's like to go through so many things in school. I know what it's like to not live the life you want to live, but create the life you want. And even if you make mistakes, those mistakes, Romans 8:28, they work out for your good.
That's right.
And to be honest with you, I tell them all the time. I say, listen, if you look at the disciples, they weren't perfect.
Nope.
It's like Jesus really loved the people that had a story,
Yes.
that had a life that wasn't the best. And so the Charm School, it's not just for, kids in a two-parent home, which they can. I like at-risk kids. So I partnered with the local county here in Jefferson County, and children that had after school issues, children that needed community service, young girls that got in trouble in school a lot, in the community a lot. I wanted them. Send me those that need some extra loving. Send me those that need someone to understand who they are. And I understood who they were because I know people see me now. And I had a great life. I'm a PK, but I still did what I wanted to do. I still went out and found a way. They say PK's kids are the worst.
Yep.
We're not that bad.
No,
we're not that bad.
No.
But I found a way to still do what I wanted to do because I felt like I needed to do extra in this world. So I found myself drinking as a teenager, experimenting with smoking, not coming home on curfew, doing all of these things, being a little rebellious. And so I learned that my parents knew the way and I knew the best life because I had a better life. So I took my mistakes and I took my life and I joined them together, and I was able to show these young ladies, yes, I've made mistakes like you, but I know how to fix these mistakes. So the Charm School is more about helping young girls understand who they are, fixing their mistakes so they don't have to live a life continuously down a path of trouble. See, that's the problem. If we can catch people when they start their path of trouble, they won't continue on a spiral of trouble. We look at them and say, oh, you know what? They'll be okay. No, they're not okay. But that comes whenever you are able to hold yourself accountable and realize that you're not okay. You want to help people. All I've ever wanted to do was help people because I know what it's like to need help, but I also know what it's like for people to think you're okay. For 5 years, I was in a marriage. A couple of years ago, I was battling depression, trying to get out of a marriage, going through a lot of different abuse within a marriage. No one knew it. Everybody thought that everything was great with me, so I know what it's like to go through, and I'm strong enough to make it by the grace of God. So I want to help those who aren't strong enough to make it. So that Charm School is my way of giving back to the young, the 15, the 13, the 8-year-olds before they graduate high school. And you still have time to pick yourself up, go to college, dust yourself off, and make a great life for yourself.
Wow.
Wow.
Rachel, I have to tell you, you having the passion to help people, it's so evident. You're joining us via Zoom, but Rachel, I feel like the power of God, like your sincerity, your authenticity, your skill set, you can feel your spirit. I know they say energy in the world, in church we say spirit. I can feel your spirit through the screen, and I'm as she's speaking, I'm getting goosebumps, and I have so many things to comment on with that, with what you just said. But the first thing I have to tell you what just happened to me, and I know that this is God. Over the commercial break, I have a sister. She's not my blood sister, but blood can't make us any closer. We go to the same church. And she DM'd me these affirmations just now, Rachel, 5 minutes ago. And she's always sending me things about praying for your husband, about Jew, he's coming. You're listening to God. You're doing what you need to do to get what God has for you. She sent me your affirmations, not knowing that I was interviewing you today. And she wrote me, she's at work. She's like, I thought about this and I want you to pray this. I'm sending this to you because I want you to pray this over your husband. These are affirmations you're going to say over your husbands. And I'm like, okay, Q. She's always sending me things like this. She's going to be one of my bridesmaids. She's always doing that. And I open it up and it says Rachel G. And I said, you have no idea how crazy God works. Do you know I'm at work interviewing her? She said, what? And then she wrote, I hear you, Jesus, with all of these S's. So I know that so many things are in alignment. That and this connection is so in alignment. And then the work that you do with the Charm School. I love that you said, I am going to be almost like that saving grace, that director, that source of guidance. For girls that look like me. And I always say this, Rachel, like, you can be selling a product, you can be selling a class, and that's all cool, and it can be really, really good. But people buy you. They buy you. That's why you started out as a makeup artist. You know that. That's why you started out as a makeup artist, but then they're sitting there for advice because people buy you. If we feel, oh, you don't have to look like us, fine, we don't care. But if we feel like you can't relate to us, there's no way we're going to open up. There's no way anybody is going to open up like that. If you come across as unreachable, and there's no way healing is going to take place because healing demands vulnerability. So speaking of healing, I want you to talk about your book, Steps to Healing. You have a healing, but she's an author too, y'all. I want you to talk about your book. How'd you come to write that book? What's some lessons that we can learn? Because I know that you have a book on healing.
Yes, the book is called Steps to Heal for Purpose. I believe that everything that you've went through in life, and I've gravitated through this journey that I just came out of, that I didn't go through anything, I grew through it. I grew and became who I needed to be. And we go through things and we're trying to find our purpose. You know, your job may be sitting and interviewing people like myself, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's your purpose.
That's right.
Because once you retire from that, that means your purpose is gone. Your purpose can be reaching people and helping people and motivating people, and the job can help you get that. But where does that come from? That comes from a particular time and space, a chapter, a season, a semester in your life where you went through. And it's that going through that you grow through that positions you for purpose. You know, we're all created for purpose. No matter what we're doing in life, there's purpose inside of us. And I am a purpose pusher. I love to help people find their purpose, OMG, because I believe that when you find your purpose, you start living. When you find your purpose, you start giving back to others. There is a need that you find yourself having to place. You are a destructive thinker. You're thinking about where is a problem, where is something that I am doing where I can implement my skills. Well, if it's a problem, that means I had to solve the problem. If I solved the problem, that means I had to have the problem. If I had the problem must have hurt me. So now I'm healing from my hurt, and I am allowing God to position me to draw people to me that need me. Every day, you are a dot, and there are dots. We are connecting to the dots. We have to depend on God to strategically put us where we need to be, to connect with the person that we need that's going to get us to our next dot in life. One waters, one plants, God gets the increase. And so I love to help people heal. And in the book, it helps you navigate a lot of my exercise assignments, a lot of my things that I had to do in my healing process. It allows you to take those things, connect it with what can I do to help somebody else? How has my growth allowed me to be not just a tree, but a vine? How can I continue to grow? I have vines all over my house, and I love them because some of them are on the ceiling and they're touching the floor, and they just grow. It's because when they connect with another one, they begin to grow. And your hurt can connect with somebody else's hurt as a healed person, and you can heal them. There is so much healing spirit, healing energy within you that you have that can connect with somebody else. Because after all, someone needs to know how can they get out of their struggle. You can't transition unless you can translate. And that's what this book does. It translates how to heal from whatever you went through in your life and find purpose in that. And you can now become a purpose pusher like me. One can chase 1,000, two could put 10,000 to flight.
Right.
You are needed in the kingdom. And if you're not doing what you need to do in the kingdom, we have a gap, we have a hole that we need filled. So that book is helping me fill the gap, helping God fill the gap of what needs to be filled in the kingdom so that we can build the kingdom for better people.
Ooh,
How
let the
powerful
church
is
say
that?
amen.
Wow. How powerful is that? Wow.
Woo.
I feel like I just went to one of your classes. I feel so filled right now.
Yeah, that's the right feeling.
Yeah, I feel so filled. Rachel, you have so much incredible advice.
Ooh.
And before we leave you, I just want to ask you one more thing, because you are making a career out of helping other people, right? You help them out in so many different ways from all walks of life, all ages. But what do you do to help fill your cup up? Because your cup, I'm sure, gets very empty with having to go and give all that energy out to others. How do you replenish yourself? How do you refill yourself back up so that you can go out and help others?
Yeah.
Well, on the spiritual side, I do not start my day without God.
That's right.
Because I help so many people, I reschedule clients today so that I can be here. And Tuesday through Thursday, I am on the phone with clients. I'm up every weekday at 6:30 on the Daily Dose on YouTube. And my day doesn't stop. Sometimes I have a break at about 12 and then I have another break at 5. But sometimes I don't have a break until midnight or 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock at night. Long breaks. Those 5-minute breaks, I have my prophetic music in the background. I have my music in the background, my worship music in the background. That is just what I am doing while I'm at home. Now, don't get me wrong. Your girl has a therapist. Right. How can I help someone else if I'm not getting help? I have a therapist. I have a spiritual advisor. I have a mentor. I have a coach. I have all of these things filling me up. And not only that, I make sure that the people around me are pouring into my cup. They are not empty. I don't allow myself to be around people that have an empty cup. My cup is already full and my cup is overflowing, and I give that to my clients. But the people that are in my circle, the people that I connect myself with, if I can help you, I'll help you. But if I see you're not wanting to help yourself, then you're going to take from my cup and I'm going to not have anything, and you're never going to be filled because you're going to keep coming to me to be replenished. So I make sure that the people that I surround myself around are people that's going to pour into me. And I would rather be by myself with my dog Preacher, pouring into me with something educational on TV and watching a documentary than putting myself in an environment to where now I am connecting myself with spirits that I have to pray off of. Right. Because I help too many people. And so I need to make sure that the people that I am around are people that are like spirited.
Woo! Wait a minute, Rachel, in conclusion, that was just so good, because I find myself having to do that as a young pastor. It's just, okay, you got a spirit. And you have to like pray. Those spirits exhaust you. If you're not tuned in like that, then so many of my friends, so many people that I know just regular on the street, do business, etc., they don't know that. Like if you're not tuned in like that, then you don't know. But if you are channeled in with God, you realize, these are spirits. And it's exhausting having to pray those spirits off of you, because you have to pray them off of you, but still not stray too far away from the core of who you are. You don't want to turn into somebody else trying to respond to negative spirits or monitoring, or monitoring spirits. I mean, the people that you have helped, you are certainly called, you are anointed, you are gifted. I know you're super active in your church. The community needs you. The world needs you. I am so thankful. I am grateful that you came on the AM show today. Before we close out, I want you to tell our viewers, Rachel, where they can find you. Let's big up that YouTube channel, the books, where they can purchase the books, your Instagram handle, any passion projects you have coming up. Let us know where we can follow you.
Well, you can put the real, RACHEL, RACHEL_RA. Wait, I just messed it all the way up because I'm so used to telling people to Google my name. The real _ Rachel G is where you can find me. You can put that in Google, or you can Google Rachel G and you can find me there. All of my handles are the same. The Real Rachel G on YouTube, The Real Rachel G on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, everywhere there is a social site. It is the same, The Real Rachel G. I should come up whenever that happens. I do have a matchmaking event that will be in Fort Lauderdale, Florida on December the 3rd through the 8th. Actually, we're doing the signups on that. That will hit the market on next week. Again, I have the I'm Somebody's Wife event that's coming up on Sunday. And then I have a Bounce Back event that will be in Vegas. The Hurt in Vegas stays in Vegas. It is a healing retreat in Vegas, and we're keeping the Hurt in Vegas. That will be March 13th. 2025. And you can always connect with me on the social sites, or you can go to info@rachelgwoodson.life, or you can go to rachelg.life on the internet and you can connect with me there.
Amazing.
Fantastic. Yeah. Amazing. Rachel, thank you so much. Y'all, let's give it up and show our love for my good friend and sister, Miss Rachel G. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. I pray God's blessings over you, that you will elevate and catapult even to higher heights. Seriously, Rachel, because we need you. The world needs you. You're doing a great work. Keep it up, my sister. I'm overwhelmed. Keep it up. Thank you so much for coming on the AM show today. We really, really appreciate it.
And thank you guys so much for having me. And I hope and pray that I impact someone's life on today to live better, to love better, and to heal.
I love that. Thank you, Rachel. Talk to you soon.
Incredible. Incredible. Absolutely amazing. All right, guys, we are going to take a quick commercial break. We have a little bit more left of the show on this Wednesday when we return.
Fantastic. So good.